welcome to the featured artist interview with Dark Avenue on Indie Music Plus. I'm JoJo Keys, your host, and I'm sitting here with two members of the band. Hey guys, how you doing?
Very
Good.
well.
How are you?
Great. Thanks for hanging out with me through some of the technical difficulties here on Blab, but we're going to make it work. So we started this recording already, but let's go ahead and start it again. So you guys are in Texas?
Yes, we are. Dallas area.
Dallas area, cool. And you have a new album coming out, but you also have something out prior, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Was that an EP or another full album?
The first one was an EP, and this one is the full album.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you guys sent me a copy of the new album before it came out, and I've been listening to it. It's great. We featured a song on our last podcast and stuff. So, I mean, it was so awesome. I decided to feature you for this week because it was, like I said earlier, it was a no-brainer. So you guys are definitely
Great.
One of the higher quality hard rock bands that I have heard come through the Indie Music Plus network. And there's quite a few musicians and bands that I work with. So we're going to talk for a little while. I'm going to play a couple of clips of some of your newer songs. And why don't you tell me about the new album, what it's about, when it's coming out?
Barry?
Well, it drops today, so it should be hitting all the digital music outlets today. I know when I looked earlier today, I saw it already on the Amazon and Spotify and some of the others, so it should be hitting with everything today.
Very cool. I thought it was going to be next week, but very cool. But are you guys planning on live streaming or anything?
That's always a possibility. They often do streams from the venue that we're playing at tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if, actually, I need to check on that and see if Crave Radio is going to be there or somebody else.
I think they are.
Do any of you guys do Periscope?
I do not.
No? You guys should try Periscope. You should try, if you're on Twitter, you should try logging in when you're doing a show and just live stream your show like from from your phone or whatever. People would love it.
Cool.
It's pretty cool. And now there's a new feature that Twitter integrated Periscope live stream in their in the feed. So if you have iPhone, I don't have iPhone, so I don't know this. I don't know what it looks like, but I watched actually a blab on it. You can watch the stream live right in your Twitter feed. So it's a great tool. You guys might want to.
That's cool.
So we
need that tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of why I mentioned it. So you guys have a big night tomorrow night then. What's happening tomorrow night? You said it's the release, but what have you been doing to prepare for it? And are you expecting a big turnout and all that goodie stuff?
We certainly hope a huge turnout tomorrow night. So we've been promoting it pretty heavily. We've got some great bands on the lineup. Also, one of the very popular singers making his return to the scene tomorrow. And just a lot of events going on the show tomorrow night. Cool.
So I remember when I first learned about you guys that you formed out of some more popular bands in the area, I think. Am I correct?
Yeah, this kind of started as a side project for most of us.
There you go.
And but I mean, as it started getting bigger and bigger, and we started getting songs, and before we even had 5 or 6 songs written, we were invited to go to South by Southwest. So that's when we were kind of like, well, maybe we should start doing this a little more often and more serious. So that was really cool.
Definitely. Awesome. Cool. So how long have you been together as Dark Avenue all together then?
Just over 2 years.
Okay. Cool.
We had actually only been together a couple of months and had only recorded one song as a demo when we got that invite to South by Southwest. So we had to write a bunch of songs in a hurry to have enough material to play the show.
Of course. Very cool. And how was that for you?
That's great. It's a good way to start things off.
I was in a band that played at South by Southwest once, but I joined a little too late and didn't have the opportunity myself. So,
yeah.
But heard it's really cool. So we're gonna let's go ahead and play a little clip of one of your songs. Do you guys have a preference on which we start with? I have them all lined up here for the new album.
Outside, it's a great song, man.
Okay. Tell me about that song, guys.
Go for it, Mario.
Okay. Jeez, man. Actually, I came in with the riff practice, and it was a song we wrote a long time ago. And I just had this melody in my head for the riff, and showed it to the guys. And I don't really play that much guitar on Dabble like this. Guys, but they were able to understand my humming, and
that's literally what it was.
And it was very different. This was the first song that we wrote that was very different from in the direction the band was going. But the cool thing is with this band is that we were just trying whatever, whatever works, whatever feels good. If the music is good, we're just gonna write it and play it. So this was the song that kind of took that make us take that turn, and it just progressed from there, and lyrically it's just whatever people identify with and it meant something to them. That's awesome. It was very organic the way that it came out.
Yeah. I admit that song is the one that stuck out to me the most to start with.
Mm-hmm.
It was just ready for radio. I mean, it's just, sorry, Barry, go ahead.
Right on. No, I was just saying it was pretty funny because he called me from work and he's like, hey man, I got this idea for the song. And he goes, I don't know how to explain it to you. So I'm like, oh, just bring it into practice tonight. And he got in, he's like, okay, it goes like this. And he just starts humming this riff. And I'm like, okay. And kind of worked it out from this humming, and there it is.
That's kind of how singers and guitar players, communicate.
It's a different.
You should hear Andrew communicate to our drummer.
That's awesome.
That's pretty special.
So, what do you guys do for for a living? Do you guys do the band for a living? I know you guys are just kind of starting out. Do you have day jobs or?
For the time being.
Yeah. Do stuff you like, or you just punch a clock?
No, actually, I mean, it's just whatever you make it, man. I mean, if I work with people, and I love helping. I love being a part of something, just like being a part of a band. So that's rewarding, when you can help people grow in their careers, whether it's in whatever you're doing or in music. So it's all good,
cool.
Man.
You have it sound like you have an accent. What's your accent?
I'm actually from Mexico.
Okay, I knew there's a different thing in there. Cool.
Yeah.
So, what is some of your musical backgrounds? Like, did you guys have any formal lessons, or just kind of grow up doing music, or this is your first band?
Go ahead, Mario.
Oh, okay.
There.
Geez, man, it's been a long career for me. Actually, my dad was my very first influence. He used to sing opera and mariachi music in Mexico, and he was kind of like the one that encouraged me to first try it around 8-9 years old. And my sisters were singers. I have two sisters, and one of them used to sing at weddings. And around age 12, I started carrying instruments, and whenever I was ready, I started doing backups for her, and that just kind of sparked my interest in music. And my very first band was a punk band, and I was actually trying to be a drummer, but as soon as I started doing backups, it was just there for me. And I joined a band in Mexico, and I toured for 5 years and moved here about 15 years ago and started playing around in the Dallas music area, and it's been there for me. So it's been a long way for me.
Very cool. Very cool. How about you, Mr. V?
I started on piano when I was like 4. My mom wanted to learn a real instrument, and that lasted for a few years until I discovered sports and everything outside. And so I stuck with piano for a few years until I started playing soccer, and then I'm like, piano's not the cool thing. And then, but I always liked music, so I wanted to continue to play something, and I wanted to play either drums or guitar, and my parents were having none of that. So I started playing trumpet, learned trumpet, and all the while still wanting to play guitar or drum. And I started cutting lawns when I was about 12 years old. Saved up all my money that summer, did it again when I was 13, saved up all my money, and went out and bought a guitar. Came home with this electric guitar, and my parents were like, well, if you did that, saved up all your money, you must really want to play guitar. So in their infinite wisdom, my mom started me in classical guitar lessons. Here I am with this electric guitar, and I'm going into classical guitar lessons, and that was the biggest turnoff ever. Wow. And I took lessons for about 8 weeks, and I was like, man, if this is what it's all about, I don't want to have anything to do with it. Put the guitar under the bed. And it wasn't until I was under permanent grounding in high school that I decided, since I'm locked in my room forever, I need something to kill time, and I pulled it back out and picked it up and started learning. It's been pretty serious since then.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah. Music lessons really go a long way, whether it's actually teaching you how to do music or just teaching you something about life and sticking with something,
Yeah, and I still play piano a little bit. I kind of wish now, looking back, that I had stuck with piano, because if you play piano, it translates to everything.
Of course.
But the classical guitar lessons, that just wasn't what I wanted to do. But I liked playing trumpet, I liked playing, getting the experience of reading music was good. I'm not very good at it now, but it was a good foundation.
You can speak the language at least, or like at least kind of like, I don't speak Spanish, but if I went to Mexico, I could learn a couple of words enough to, maybe get around for a day or so.
Yeah.
But you can still speak the language, and music is an easier language to speak than Spanish.
Anybody can understand it.
Exactly.
Yes. It's a universal language.
And and I don't know if you guys know, but I teach piano full time too. So I'm a real big believer in music education, and just what you said, Barry, about piano being a great place to start for no matter what instrument you're going to play,
Yep.
So what song would you guys like to go on to listen to next?
I'm going to raise my hand, and since we have somebody from Colombia,
that's right.
The second single we released is the Spanish language single, and it's Una Vez Más.
resistir. Ya no quiero más vivir sin tu amor, que quedará. Todo tiene un final. Un momento, escúchame. Dame una oportunidad de mostrarte que cambié. Demorarme fue mi error. Si tú te vas en la oscuridad, me dejarás cuando tú te vas, cuando tú no estás. Esta soledad, la vida se me va una vez más. Si quieres me alejaré, de tu nombre olvidaré el amor que yo te di. Pretender que nunca fue, olvidarme de tu ser, arrancarte de mi piel. Sé mi vida cambiará, no podré vivir sin ti. Si tú te vas en la oscuridad, me dejarás cuando tú te vas, cuando tú no estás. Esta soledad, la vida se me va una vez más. Cuando tú te vas.
It's a love story, man. You know, if obviously you've traveled to Mexico, and you know, Latin Americans, we're very passionate about everything. And this is just a love story, you know, about losing and, you know, possibly losing someone, and in any way. And it just kind of explains that throughout the song, the pain that you feel when someone is not in your life anymore.
Sure. And who, you know, when you guys write a song such as this one, what's your process, generally speaking? Does every song start with you humming something? Or?
No, actually, it comes in many different ways. As a matter of fact, the how we wrote this song, Alan, my bass player, I was gonna make a joke. I love him. All right, man. Keep him in the closet. Exactly. The bass player, he plays guitar, and we were over here in my apartment having some Buddhas beer, and he came in with the riff, and we started playing it, and I was like, man, I think this would be a great like rock ballad. And you know, came to the rehearsal room, showed it to the guys, you know, loved it. I started writing it in English, and Jeff, our drummer, started telling us like, man, why don't you try something in Spanish? It's been, you know, a while since you've written something in Spanish. So I was like, you know, that's not a bad idea. So that's how this started. So, but I mean, it's just in many different ways. I mean, it could just be sitting next to each other in the car, going to practice, and you know, the song just pops up, and there it is.
Yeah. How many songs?
Yeah, and I'll expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
On the Spanish thing, yeah, Jeff had mentioned it for that song, but it's something that we had been wanting to do for a long time. We feel with Mario's talents that being able to sing in English and in Spanish just opens up a whole new market, potential fan base to us around the world. And I don't think there's a lot of bands that do that. And why not explore that avenue. And so it's something that we had wanted to do for a long time, and that song just happened to be the perfect one to get started on that, I think.
Yeah, that's great. I like it. I just, don't know the words. But that's my own stupidity, though.
And I think it's a cool enough song also, and that's one of the reasons why we released it as a advanced single. It's got that big rock ballad feel that I think even if you don't know the words, people relate to the song just because of the feeling of the song.
Totally.
We've gotten a lot of really good positive feedback on it already in just a very limited release.
Yeah, I'll tell you, my wife is a music therapist, and we're both really big believers in, feelings or the healing energies of music and stuff. And honestly, when I listen to music, I don't even listen to lyrics a lot of the times. I do have more as I get older, but in my 20s, I never listened to lyrics. It was all about the music,
I completely agree, man. As a matter of fact, it's what I do. When I listen to music, I don't even pay attention to the lyrics until, later on, once I'm really, really into the song or the band who's performing it.
Yeah. Or I listen to it so many damn times,
And it's funny you say that, Joe, because in about a year ago, when you did the first review on our EP, one of the things that you mentioned was, until you heard our stuff, you didn't pay attention to lyrics. And I remember from the interview or the review because it stuck out.
That is one thing that I remember about you guys. You're right. Totally. Yep. Yeah. You guys talk about stuff, real life stuff. Like you're talking about the relationships and, all that stuff. Like I like the album cover, Illusions. Can you guys expand a little bit more on what the whole concept is about on the whole illusions idea?
Well, Mariano kind of talked back and forth back on it, that if you listen to a lot of the words that he writes, you can see it in different ways. So an illusion is often how you see something, and it may be different from reality. And a lot of what he says in his songs are often like that. And we're like, it's kind of a play on what he talks about in a sense.
Yeah, and even how, you can use music to portray things.
Yeah. Well, man, it's just I think one of the things that music is lacking now, it's gosh, I don't know what the word is,
Substance.
Yeah, to say the least. Just mystery. It's very direct. Sure. There's no metaphors in songs. You underestimate the listener a lot. So one of the things that I like doing is just saying something without saying it directly. Sure. In the lyrics, and just kind of intrigue the listener, and just like I was saying earlier, I mean, the song could mean something completely different than it's going to mean to you. So that's the part that I try to accomplish when I'm writing something, and I don't write it until we're in the studio. I mean, I'm constantly editing songs until I feel it's ready.
Yeah,
that is pretty interesting with the way we do it. We may actually have played the songs live, and his lyrics may not be in their final format until we get here to the studio and we actually track the vocals for the record, and then he kind of solidified things. We'll record it, listen back. Is it doing what it needs to do in the song? He'll adjust it. If not, we'll retrack it until it fits.
Cool. And is that the studio? Is that the studio you guys normally record in? That you're in, or is that
most of it? Yeah.
Yeah. Is that your home studio, or?
It is.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
We actually did half the album at a studio in Cleveland, and then we did half the album here.
Very interesting. Why in Cleveland?
We landed an artist development deal with Breakout Artist Management about a year ago.
Very cool.
And they made arrangements for us to come up to Cleveland, work with the producer up there. So we recorded half the record up there with him, and then half the record down here in our own studio.
Awesome. Yeah, I know who they are.
Shoot, hang on. Let me take a look here at the CD.
You got a lot of tracks on this album.
Why don't we go with No Answers?
Oh, what do you want now? What do you want now? What do you want? You don't want from me. Hey, what do you say now? What do you say now? What do you say? Say to me. Every time we look to you, we find no answers. So every time we seek the truth, you're never there. Oh, what do you want now? What do you want now? What do you want? You want with me. Hey, what do you say now? What do you say now? What do you say? Say to my face. Every time we look to you, we
All right,
find
here's
no
the next question. Who's your influences?
Where to start? Go ahead.
Man, I like everything from the blues, especially. That's what I really started playing when I first learned guitar. Old school hip hop. We're talking like Beastie Boys, Sir Mix-a-Lot, Tupac.
I know who you're talking about.
And then anything that's got a distorted guitar on it, I love it.
Man, my
And,
influences are a little wider, just because of where I grew up. Thanks to my dad, I listened to a lot of opera,
Oh, cool.
a lot of mariachi music, and trio, and just a lot of Mexican, folkloric music when I was little. And my very first rock influence was Queen.
Yeah, well, you guys have a really, really unique sound. Even though you fit into a realm that's gonna take you like pretty far, I think, in the in the pop world. It's like because it's a polished sound, and in a good way, not in the sense that you guys are like candy produced or anything like that. I could tell right off the bat that you guys, just knowing you in the last year or so, I know that you're not signed. I know you guys do it all on your own pretty much. Having an artist development deal helps, but how much, you do a lot of the stuff on your own to get into the studio. You
do it all.
Get into the studio and stuff. So I have a lot of respect for you guys, and it's cool working with you. I hope we can continue to do so. And
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Your feature will be up on the website for really as long as the website is up. Excuse me. Generally, I promote everything for about like 6 months. So we'll be promoting you guys pretty hard over the next.
Dude, your promotions, ever since you found us, your promotions have brought many, especially Twitter followers.
Excellent.
Man,
dude.
just our Twitter count is just skyrocketed.
Excellent.
A lot because of you.
I appreciate you telling me
thank
that.
you.
I got allergies going on today.
That's okay. I appreciate that. That means a lot, because that's kind of what the whole point of this is. Like, I charge for a few services and stuff, and we're going to be growing the service just to be even better. But, the whole business is me. I have a partner now, but, he's helping me with the website and stuff, and has some experience in doing this kind of thing. Sorry, that's my computer notifying me. But yeah, I really have a passion. I've been an indie musician my entire life, and I have a passion for, getting people to be seen and heard on this, what I call new grassroots, which is social media. And so yeah, So it's fun. It's fun to have you guys to work with. And like I said before, I hope we can continue to grow the relationship. So
yeah, man, we really appreciate it. And again, thank you for having us here, for letting
Thank you very much.
absolutely
talk this morning, and very appreciated.
Absolutely.
Very
Thank you,
much.
everybody, for listening and watching. All the replay viewers here on Blab, thanks for hanging out. YouTube and all that stuff. It's a subscription button and all the good stuff you're supposed to say about that. I'm JoJo Keys. This is Indie Music Plus with Dark Avenue, Mario, and Barry. And they're going to be our featured artists next week on indiemusicplus.com. So we'll catch y'all later. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.